Hi, I'm Ross Jacobs, and today we're going to talk about working a horse in a round pen. A lot of people use it these days, and mostly it's worked to the advantage of getting a horse to hook on, or as Monty Roberts coined the term, join up, where a horse will just follow you around. And they talk about it in terms of respect and disrespect and that type of thing. The purpose of a round yard is very wide. There's a lot of reasons why you use a round yard. But underpinning everything you do should be about trying to develop and improve your relationship with your horse. It's really about building a connection, building soft feelings, and building confidence in the horse that you can direct them. So that's what underpins everything that's going to follow in this video. So we'll get started. This was taken at a recent clinic I did in Iowa, and we have Melissa working with her 10-year-old cutting trained mare, Sylvie. Sylvie was being deeply damaged by her previous experience. Melissa's only had her a couple of months, and this is our third day, I think, from the clinic, and the first time Sylvie was ever in the round yard. The mare is deeply worried by people, and she's very skeptical and gets scared when someone tries to handle her. And she showed great improvements over the course of the clinic. So the first thing I want to mention is the principle that we should leave our horse rather than sending our horse away from us. In this video, you can see that the trainer scares his horse to leave. He sends the horse away. And I would rather have the horse follow me. Compare this to Melissa and Sylvie. Melissa takes the halter off, and then she waits for Sylvie to be there. Sylvie's thoughts need to be with Melissa before Melissa goes to wander away. The second thing I want to bring up is that I don't like horses being chased or driven around a round pen. Here we have a trainer who does this, just that, and he drives the horses around the pen purely as in an effort to create submission and obedience. And really what he does is he creates a sense of futility amongst the horse. It's a slavish sort of relationship that he's developing with his horse rather than a willing partnership. So I'm not a big fan of this type of approach. You can see the trouble in the horse when he is pushed. Now if we look at how Melissa approached the same sort of scenario, she goes to walk away, Sylvia takes an interest and goes with her, and Melissa tries to draw her thought when Sylvie's mind wanders over there, over to the other part of the arena. Again, Melissa touched her and asked Sylvie to come back. There's no driving. And what you're seeing here is a troubled horse who's really trying to figure out the best place to be in the arena. And Melissa's doing a terrific job of helping Sylvie work out that Melissa is her best option and that one day they're going to be best friends. You can see how the interest in Sylvie is growing as Melissa walks away. Melissa keeps drawing Sylvie's thought, and she's doing a terrific job. But what do you do if a horse doesn't want to check in, if their thought doesn't come back to you and they don't have a very strong interest? Well, there's a few options. The first one that I would be tempted to try was just be patient and wait. Here, Melissa's doing a little more than I'd like, but you'll see that she's not doing a lot, and she gets a change in Sylvie pretty quickly without any hard feelings. Sylvie is quite comfortable to come back and check in with Melissa with only a little enticement from Melissa. The other thing that you can do is that instead of wait for your horse to come to you, you can go to your horse, pet on him, and see if that will draw his thought back to you. And perhaps the last option is to get a little bigger and put a little more pressure. And you can see Melissa here is just a little jigging there to try and encourage Sylvie to think back to her. That's not working, so then she goes to slapping her leg, and now that she got a change. It didn't cause Sylvie a lot of undue tension, but it was enough to draw her thought back to Melissa. And here's Melissa doing it once more, a slap on the leg, and Sylvie says to her, "Where are you going? Where have you been? I've been waiting for you." And now we come to the controversial topic of inside turns or outside turns. A lot of people believe when a horse turns away from you and faces his bum towards you, it's a sign of disrespect and a big no-no, and get a lot of horses into trouble. Here a lady is trying to get her horse to change direction through an inside turn, but he keeps turning to the outside and he gets into trouble with her. She pushes him to go forward and he's quite worried and quite tense about the whole thing. But my preferred option when I'm starting out teaching a horse round pen work is always outside turns. And here's Melissa teaching Sylvie to do outside turns, nicely and quietly, just asking her to walk around and turn from left to right. And it didn't seem to bother Sylvie. Now here's where Sylvie gets a little worried in a moment, as you'll see. So there was a mistake there on Melissa's part, just an error in timing, and so Sylvie wasn't asked to change direction, but she did. That caused her to run off with a little tension. Nothing really serious, but a little tension. Now Melissa's persevering quietly to try and get an outside turn. And that was pretty sweet. Still a little tension being carried in Sylvie, but she's doing really nicely, and it wouldn't take much to get these nice, quiet, calm turns. Now let's talk about touching our horses to reward them. That's why we should touch them, to make them feel better. And if you now watch how Melissa does it, she strokes Sylvie and gets out of there as Sylvie's thoughts leave. She tries to draw her thought back, but she stops touching her because she realizes it hadn't happened, and she waits till Sylvie's brain comes back to her before she strokes her again. And then Melissa leaves. She doesn't flood Sylvie with rubs and pats because Sylvie does not yet feel okay with people. She's still learning that, even though she's 12 years old. So Melissa touches her and then leaves her alone and then comes and touches her again. She tries not to overdo it until Sylvie starts to learn to feel better. Contrast now with this fella who floods his horse over and over, and there's nothing that feels good to the horse about that. He shuts down and goes inside himself. So what's the point of rubbing him if you can't make a horse feel good? Well, I hope you got something out of that and it was worth watching, and you got some ideas that you can include into your own work in a round pen. So until next time, good night, Alice, wherever you are.